Chris Jordan there.
Recovered well from the big boundary. And 188 for 3 after 19 is the Pakistan score. And the final over of the inning has been expensive.
This is where you can do yourself and the team, you know, a lot of justice by, you know, getting yourself back into it as a team, not going for too many, you know, so the total isn't 200 plus. So a big over for Tom Curran. He's got the experience. I'm just interested to see what he does this over now. Is he going to go to the York? Because he's seen Chris Jordan do that to full effect, and will he do the same?
As conceded so far from Tom Curran, his 3 overs. Hafiz is on 66. A strike rate of exactly 200. Pakistan have hit 69 from the last 5 overs. This has been a really good batting performance.
Having been stuck in.
Well, exactly. England winning the toss.
Were you surprised, or do you think that was fair? What?
Well, the only question I have as we watch Tom Curran moving into bowl to Hafiz, he swings hard. It's full, and it'll be just a single to deep mid-wicket to move Pakistan to 189 for 3. 5 balls left of the innings. I just wonder if Owen Morgan's thinking there's limited time before the next World Cup, not quite as limited as it was. I wonder if he's just thinking, let's put a bit of pressure on this batting side. Let's see what they're made of. Maybe it's an opportunity to just give a little bit of a challenge.
In a pressure situation. I agree, totally agree. That's what you want. You know, you're not going to play in that many games before the World Cup comes round.
Tom Curran to bowl to Iftikhar, who's swinging hard. Has he found the gap for 4? There is work for Billings, and he will pick up. Again, aiming for the leg side, just 2 runs.
I mean, that's all of 50, 60 yards of Billings, who is a wicket-keeper, known as, by trade, as just on the full to Johnny Bairstow over the stumps. I mean, what an arm that is. I can only wish of throwing a ball that hard, just like that. But again, 2 full deliveries, good start by Tom Curran.
4 balls left of the innings, 191 for 3. Iftikhar on strike. It's a full toss. Help around the corner. I think it'll be 4 runs. There's real work to do, and in the end, just about done successfully by Lewis Gregory, who not only had to worry about getting the ball cleanly, but then not tumbling over the ropes. He's done superbly well to stop that.
What's going to happen this delivery is ball 3 full-length Yorker-type deliveries. Fine leg, short fine leg is up. What's Hafiz thinking? Is Tom thinking slow ball?
Well, fielders is quite in place at Rashid for that.
Onto the boundary.
For that shot, we've got a deep cover, long on, deep mid-wicket, deep backwards square. And then that fielder at fine leg as well. So, Tom Curran, where do you bowl? Hafiz waits, it's hit into the leg side. There's protection there. And again, there's good work in the deep from Gregory. And again, it'll just be the 2 runs. And applause ringing round. There's not many here, but the England dressing room on the balcony and those in the field applauding 2 really good bits of work from Lewis Gregory that has saved certain boundaries. 194 for 3, 2 balls left of the innings.
2 fantastic pieces of fielding make all the difference. Saving 5 or 10 runs can, just help England chasing a lesser total. Finish well. Tom needs to finish really well here. It's been 4 good deliveries so far.
6 from the over so far. It's in the air, hit hard, could be a chance of a catch. Morgan underneath it, takes the catch. And Hafiz goes for 69. So, Pakistan lose another 194 for 4 with a ball left of the innings. And Curran not only has taken the wicket in this over, but he's also bowled 4 really good deliveries before that to just take a bit of the momentum out of the Pakistan bowling attack.
He's shown his experience actually here, hasn't he? It's been a great over so far. He's got to finish really well. Getting that experience in IPL and bowling at death on a regular basis. His experience has really come to the party here.
And why I say the Pakistan bowling attack is the energy that they would have got from the batting performance. He gives you such freedom as a bowler if you know what you're defending. is huge. You can go out there and
you can go in and run in hard, hit the wicket hard, and look for wickets, because you know that the batsmen have got to get off to a good start. They're under pressure straight away. They've got to play big risky shots almost as soon as they're in. There's no time to settle for the batsmen.
Final ball of the innings. Tom Curran is in. It's wide, a slower ball which is cut away.
Great over, brilliant over,
and it's just a single. So 195 for 4, 20 overs gone. Pakistan will be pleased with that, no question about it. But Tom Curran's done really well there. Final over of the innings, going for just 7 runs with the wicket in there as well. But England are going to have to break a record if they chase this down. The highest target successfully chased against Pakistan is 192. England's target will be 196. Do you back them?
Yes. This is what Eoin Morgan will probably have wanted right from the get-go, to be under pressure, see how his team will challenge this big total that Pakistan have put on the board. But yeah, look, it's been a mixed bag, hasn't it, by England? You know, every over pretty much has gone for a boundary at the very first delivery, putting pressure, on this England bowling attack. So I'm sure they'll be bitterly disappointed with that bowling performance throughout the 20 overs. Not ideal.
So 196 will be the target. Pakistan's innings, big opening partnership worth 72 before Fakhar Zaman went for 36. Babar followed for 56. And Shoaib Malik went for 14. The final wickets fall in the innings. Mohammad Hafiz for that excellent 69. He topped scores in the innings with 5 fours, 4 sixes in there as well. Played really nicely. And 195 for 4 was an excellent effort. 2 wickets for Adil Rashid and 1 apiece for Tom Curran and Chris Jordan. So England's target will be 196 for a side that is missing some of the big names, as we mentioned. No Joe Root, for example, in the England side today. He's been playing, though, and scoring runs for Yorkshire in the Vitality T20 Blast. And Kevin Howells is watching at Headingley the match against Derbyshire and can give us all the scores from around the competition. Kevin.
The score, and Yorkshire all over this game at the moment. They have set 221 as a target. Big total from them, 220 for 5 off their 20 overs here against Derbyshire in Leeds in the Vitality Blast. And Derbyshire got off to an horrific start. They were 20 for 4 inside 5 overs. Joe Root with a couple of wickets. But let me also tell you about what he scored with the bat. 64 off 40 balls, 7 fours and a couple of sixes, involved with a partnership of 84 with Adam Lyth for the second wicket. Lyth going for 61. So terrific from Yorkshire, setting the platform, but really brutal at the end was Will Frayne. Is 44 not out off just 16 deliveries, 2 fours and 5 sixes, taking Yorkshire over the 200 mark. So as I say, just hard taking Yorkshire over the 200 mark. So as I say, just hard striking the ball later on. Earlier, terrific placement from Lyth and from Root as well, and some skillful shot selection. So Yorkshire well in control here. 34 for 4 at Derbyshire. That after 8 overs chasing this 221. Quick run down the other 4 games. Birmingham Bears need 140 to beat Glamorgan. They're 55 for 1 in the 8th over. The Glamorgan captain Chris Cook earlier scoring 72. Somerset are 59 for 2 in the 7th over. Away to the Steelbacks, they need 172. So 59 for 2 in the 7th, chasing 172. Surrey against Essex Eagles in the South Group, where Surrey is 66 for 2 after 8 overs, trying to chase down 144. And Hampshire 176 for 5 off their 20 overs. Sussex Sharks off to a very strong start there. They're 70 for no wicket after just 6 overs.
Thank you, Kevin. The start of the competition, Kevin, we've seen the sort of weather that's caused havoc with the test matches over the last couple of weeks, but we have had some good games over the last couple of days. That tie at Lords, 100 for Joe Clark. There's been plenty of things to keep us interested. Yeah, well, yes, Keaton Jennings and Alex Davis setting Lancashire records on the first night in the only game that was completed out of the first of the 9 games over Thursday and Friday. So as much as we try to be positive, Henry, it was rubbish, really. The weather was rubbish. But well done to Lancashire for getting that victory up there in the northeast against Durham. And what we had yesterday, I'm a real Joan. I got another game that was called off, only 1 point each, the game between Leicestershire and Lancashire. But I'm telling you, even though the bar is raised so high with fielding these days, what we saw yesterday in the game between Leicestershire and Lancashire, some of the catching, it was terrific from Dane Villas, sort of leaning back and taking the ball in the air. He took 3 really good catches. The Tom Bailey one, down
down low to his right-hand side. If you get a chance to see that on social media, please do. It was amazing from Bailey there in the covers. And we've seen some even here today. I mean, just where will this bar stop in terms of breathtaking catches and fielding these days? But yeah, we had the tie yesterday at Lords. It really needed it, I thought, the competition yesterday. Because of the weather, can't do anything about it. But, you know, given the opportunities they did yesterday, that tied result between Middlesex and Kent, and also that terrific, 40-ball unbeaten century there for Joe Clark for Nottinghamshire at Durham. We mustn't forget Paul Sterling yesterday as well, picking up a couple of wickets. The Ireland international, now as an overseas player, playing for Northamptonshire Steelbacks in a very comprehensive victory over Worcestershire. He got an 80 yesterday as well as the couple of wickets. So yesterday needed what we had yesterday. Here it is so one-sided. Derbyshire have just lost another wicket at 38 for 5, so they're really up against it here. But you know, we can't have it every day. But really, I just can't believe where this fielding is going at the moment. It is truly breathtaking.
It really is, Kevin. Thank you. We will keep up to date with what's happening around the Vitality Blast. And of course, you can listen to every ball of every game around the competition via the BBC Sport website and app. And plenty of counties do a wonderful job on social media of showing the best of the action, so you should be able to find some of those examples of the big hits and the brilliant catches from around the competition. Here at Old Trafford, well, Pakistan have set 196 as a target for England. 50 runs scored from the first deliveries of the overs. We've been mentioning it on commentary all day. That's been the key target and the clear plan, Alex Hartley, England international, that we've seen from Pakistan is trying to get that early breakthrough in the over just to disrupt England.
Yeah, I say it over and over again. You get a boundary early on in an over, your run rate goes up to 8s and 9s, and Pakistan did that the whole way through their innings, but England equally didn't start their overs well. They didn't get in and out of their overs, and I was really disappointed with that.
Ron, we've been talking about it and this challenge that of trying to recover after that sort of start in an over.
It's not easy. You're putting yourself under pressure, under the pump straight away, so you've got to fight back as a bowler and think on your feet, but it is very difficult, and England did that pretty much every over, didn't they? At the start of the over, they put pressure on themselves.
And that was the problem, and it's what's led to Pakistan getting this big old total. So England have got a challenge in front of them. 196 would be the highest chase for them, for any side against Pakistan in international T20. England's highest chase, 223 to win a game in Centurion in February, and that was in their last completed T20. So they have got form and they know what it's all about in terms of chasing down these big totals. But it is, of course, a different challenge when you haven't got some of the big names that we're used to, the likes of Jos Buttler and Ben Stokes, as we mentioned, Joe Root playing for Yorkshire, as we've just heard from Kevin Howells. Here the sun is just threatening to shine. They've got the floodlights on, but there is the suggestion that we might just possibly see a little bit of sunshine through the afternoon. And hopefully the aim, so desperate as we are to see a full game of cricket after the frustration we've had over the last few weeks, I think we should be okay. That's the feeling. The forecast suggests that we should be all right over the next few hours, and we will see a full game in play. So that's what we're expecting here at Old Trafford. England are just preparing. Their openers are getting ready to head out to the middle with this big old target to chase down Pakistan's bowling attack. We've talked about them an awful lot, are getting ready to do what they can to disrupt the England top order and see if they can get the early breakthroughs that can disrupt an innings. We certainly saw a few days ago in the incomplete T20 when England lost those wickets in the middle overs. It really disrupted things, and they then really struggled to get back on track and try and recover the innings. So that's going to be very much on the mind of Pakistan's bowlers. And because they've got this big target to defend, they've got a little bit more freedom to maybe try a few different things and have a few more options and go for a slightly more attacking approach in the opening stages of the innings. Mohammad Rizwan's down there in front of us, the Pakistan wicketkeeper. He's just practicing a few drills and has had such an excellent few weeks and has been making a real case for automatic selection for Pakistan. He's moved ahead of Sarfaraz Ahmed as being the Pakistan first choice wicketkeeper, and didn't get to bat today, which is a little bit of a disappointment in some respects, because I love watching him bat. But he's down there warming up. The Pakistan fielders are now gathering for the huddle. The umpires are on their way out to the middle. And We're pretty much ready to get started. Tom Banton making his way down the steps alongside Johnny Bairstow, who will be desperate for a score after his disappointment a couple of days ago. And they'll be out in the middle in just a moment, ready to get England off, as they will hope, to an excellent start on their way to 196, which would be a big old chase here at a big venue. Old Trafford is a big outfield, the boundaries are big, you've got to hit the ball a long way, and they'll know that they have to get this innings absolutely right if they are to chase down 196 runs against this Pakistan side. That's the challenge in front of England. Pakistan playing really well, putting the pressure on, and Banton and Bairstow punch gloves and make their way out to the middle as we get ready to see the second innings of this second T20 International. Of course, the match on BBC One television as well, so you can watch the game for the first time in 21 years, international cricket on BBC TV. You can keep listening to us if you're out and about, or maybe listening in the garden, wherever you might be. We'll still be here on Test Match Special, as we are for every England international at home. And you can keep following, of course, with a live text feed on the website, in-play highlights, all of the different options you have available to you. And so there is plenty of ways to follow the cricket across the BBC. A very warm welcome to our listeners on BBC 5 Live. You join us with England's opening pair, Johnny Bairstow and Tom Banton, making their way to the middle with 196 as their target in this second international T20 between England and Pakistan, played here at Emirates Old Trafford. It was a fine performance with the bat from Pakistan. We saw 56 from the captain Babar Azam, 69 from Mohammad Hafiz, a couple of wickets for Adil Rashid for England, but other than that it was pretty much one-way traffic, and there's a big task ahead of Tom Banton and Johnny Bairstow to get England off to a good start. Alex Hartley, 2017 World Cup winner, is alongside me. And Alex, there's a certain level of freedom that comes with a big target to chase, but there's also pressure on these England openers.
Yeah, there really is. England need to go out there and they don't need to do anything stupid first up. We saw how easily Pakistan managed to get all of these runs just through bad balls that were delivered by the England bowlers. We saw in the previous game, Tom Banton scored 20 runs from his first 19 balls, then got 50 off his next 21. So they have the firepower up at the top of the order. They just need to be patient, play themselves in, and then the runs will come.
Imad Wasim is going to open the bowling once again. He got the wicket of Johnny Bairstow in the previous match in the first over. Bairstow caught and bowled for just 2. First up, Tom Banton is cutting the ball hard into the offside, but there won't be a run. So England will have to wait to see the scoreboard moving for the first time. We've got fielders in the deep, the fielding restrictions in the power play overs, which give a real opportunity to get the innings off to a quick start. We've got a fielder deep square leg and long on. That's Wasim, left arm spin, is bowling to Banton, and England will get the first run of the innings. It runs up towards long on, and England are 1 without loss. Strange old atmosphere, isn't it, without the crowd in, Alex?
It is. You can tell that Pakistan are up and about for this game, can't you? Because you can hear them, which you can never normally do. Yeah,
you hear all the conversations taking place around the bat, and it brings a completely different experience if you're following it. Bairstow waits, looks around, sees packed offside field inside the 30-yard circle. Imad Wasim moving in around the wicket. Bairstow just nudges the ball into the leg side. Keeper Rizwan will pick up, and it is a second run for England. So 2 without loss, and it looks that the approach, initially at least, Alex, is that England are going to be a bit wary about trying anything too chaotic and overly aggressive, and just maybe protect things.
Yeah, and I think that's the way they need to go about this. Both of these players, you know, Tom Banton's coming off the back of a big score.
Here comes Imad Wasim again. Banton down the track, works the ball behind square on the leg side. That'll be 1 more, 3 without loss.
So he'll want to back up that. So he'll want to prove that it's not just a thing that he can do every now and then. He'll want to prove that he can do it on a regular basis. And Bairstow got out pretty cheaply in the previous game, so he's got runs to get. You know, he's fighting for his, well, essentially his place if Banton's scoring runs.
Well, that is the extra subplot in all of this, is with all these players missing because they're rested after Test duty. It's a big opportunity for some of the England lineup. Bairstow waiting, just cramped for room a little bit. There won't be a run. You can hear the noise from those fielders as the ball is collected in the leg side. 3 without loss. So you look at, say, Tom Banton, Johnny Bairstow as well. These are players that aren't automatic picks, certainly. Imad Wasim bowls to Bairstow again. It goes to that fielder, who runs in and collects Babar Azam, the captain, from mid-wicket, and just 3 from the first over. That's a really good start from Pakistan.
It really is. You can tell they're up and about. You know, they've just come out. They've got so much energy. You can see they're running now between the overs. They're up and about for this, and I think they're backing themselves.
Mind you can watch this game live on BBC One, as we mentioned, or it's on the BBC iPlayer, and you'll be able to watch it back. Video highlights, clips on the BBC Sport website and app if you've missed any of the action so far. And there's some really good hitting from Pakistan that's worth having a look at. I think it's fair to say there was no crowd to see it, but they would have been taking cover all over the shop had they been in here, because those stands were targeted on a number of occasions. Shaheen Afridi, 20 years old, tall left-arm seam bowler, is going to bowl from the Jimmy Anderson end, with Tom Banton on strike, fresh from having scored 71 a couple of days ago in that disrupted match that we saw here on Friday.
This is a real key passage of play here for England. So if Pakistan bowl any loose deliveries, England have to take advantage of those, because the power play, there's only 2 fielders out. Pakistan did exactly that in the first innings.
So Banton against Shaheen. From the far end, Shaheen moves into bowl to Tom Banton. It's quick and it's clipped off the pads for a single into the leg side. And at 85 miles an hour from that tall left-handed action, he's an awkward bowler to face, is Shaheen. We spoke to James Anderson a couple of days ago as part of the team on commentary, and he said that Shaheen actually asked him for some advice after the game, and got some information. And it's nice to see, isn't it, to know that the younger generation are asking those more senior veterans for a little bit of guidance.
I wonder why no one's come to ask me for any tips in my team.
And you're the captain. 4 without loss.
I've got a bit of a bone to pick with you, Henry.
No.
Well, you are carrying around a sock at the minute.
I am.
And you keep pulling out a phone from said sock.
Yes. 4 without loss. Shaheen Afridi moving into bowl to Johnny Bairstow. Plays the ball into the ground. It'll be a dot ball. England just feeling a little bit of pressure here, as they know that a target of 196 requires a good start. But at the moment, Pakistan on top. I am carrying, well, it's because I've got a new phone, you see, Alex. And you know what it's like when you get a new phone. You feel very protective. And I haven't got the new case, hasn't arrived yet. And so I had to find a sock to put it in. My question is, I'm not convinced it's a clean one.
I'm not convinced it's actually doing anything if you drop it.
No, it's fine. It's just, I'm just going to put it back in its sock. Back in my pocket.
It's the strangest thing I've seen all week.
Does the job. Here comes Shaheen to bowl to Johnny Bairstow, who hits the ball hard into the leg side. That should be, well, possibly the first boundary. The ball just slowing up a little bit on the outfield, and there's a chase on, but the ball just wins the race. The slightly veteran legs, shall we say, senior legs of Shoaib Malik couldn't quite haul the ball in, and Johnny Bairstow with a boundary out to deep mid-wicket to give England just a little bit of momentum. 8 without loss. So
we saw that bowling full and straight is difficult to get away, and quite a lot of the England seamers, well, and the spinners, carried on bowling into the pitch, and it was quite easy to get away. They've bowled really well first up, but the danger of bowling full and straight and not having anyone out on the leg side is that just becomes a free shot.
One fielder in the deep on the leg side is that square leg, so anything out there is likely to bring boundaries. Bairstow goes hard into the offside this time, just clears the fielder at extra cover. Should be 4 more. The ball again slows up in the outfield. It chases on. Once again, the ball wins the race. This time it's the captain, Babar Azam, who has to collect it from the ropes rather than hauling it in. And England back-to-back boundaries that just changed the dynamic of this game. 12 without loss.
Can't quite find the middle, can he, Johnny Bairstow? There's a trickle to the boundary, those previous 2 deliveries.
But it is boundaries, and that's what England needed, just to get going. 12 without loss. Bairstow is on 9. A bit of thinking, a bit of a shuffle of the field from Pakistan. We've got mid-wicket moving just a little bit further round. Fielders in the deep at square leg and wide third man. There's Bairstow with this bat raise, baseball style. Waits for Shaheen, and it's very full LBW shout. The umpire's not interested. Pakistan do have 2 reviews available, but umpire Milnes was very quick to say not interested. Took a step away, and I think Pakistan are going to decide it's not worth the review. My instinct was that probably pitched outside the line of the stumps, and that's enough to save Bairstow. It was quick, it was full and threatening, but it's not a wicket.
It just didn't look out. So, do you know, when you see deliveries and quite often they look out, that was just, it just didn't feel out to me.
And it's quite a difficult thing to explain that.
Yeah,
but I know what you mean.
I'm hoping people know what I mean as well.
I know what you're saying. 13 without loss, final ball of the second over. Shaheen is in, and it'll be one run if Banton is quick. He has to go the long way round as Shaheen stands and completely within his rights watches where the ball has gone. So Banton has to go a slightly more scenic route, but gets there, and it is the end of the over. 14 without loss after 2. The target is 196. Test match special commentary on 5 Live Sports Extra, 5 Live, and via the BBC website and BBC Sounds. It's the second T20 between England and Pakistan. Alex Hartley and Henry Moran with you, bringing the action from a sunny Old Trafford for the first time today. The sun is properly shining now.
It always shines in Manchester, Henry. Just occasionally it rains.
That's a bit like when you told me in the winter you've only ever been wrong twice in your life.
Maybe 3 times now.
Imad Wasim falls. Oh, reverse hit from Banton. It's cleared the infield and it's cleared the ropes as well. It is an extraordinary cricket shot.
I don't know how he plays that shot. He's a freak. You know, he just plays it so well. The previous over, you know, he looked like he was struggling a little bit, and it just seems to be his go-to, and he always gets a boundary from it.
It's an incredible piece of hitting. You'll be able to see it as a highlight on the BBC Sport website soon enough, but he's switched his stance and just helped the ball all the way over the ropes. Imad Wasim again, and this time Banton a more conventional shot, and it goes out towards deep mid-wicket. Just loses a bit of pace as it bounces, and it won't be a boundary, but will be 2 more. So Banton suddenly looks like he's decided this is the moment to start hitting hard, and England are 22 without loss suddenly.
I get excited when I see Banton start doing this because he plays the ball so well. He's got such fast hands. I just don't want him to get ahead of himself and play a stupid shot here.
Because while this is a big target, Alex, England need to also play with control. They can't just go out swinging.
No, they can't. And we saw in the previous game that they had a middle order collapse, and they cannot afford for that to happen again.
Imad Wasim to bowl to Tom Banton, gives himself space, picks up a single into the leg side. That's good delivery. Bowler just chasing the batsman, cramping him up for room a bit. And England 23 without loss. Banton on 13, Bairstow on 10. Plenty of encouragement for Imad Wasim. This is a big partnership for England. Bairstow on 10. Gives himself space, helps the ball around the corner. That's a good shot from Johnny Bairstow. That should bring 4 runs, and it does. He just took that step into the offside, gave himself room, and round the corner it goes. So that's another boundary for England. 27 without loss.
Brilliant over this from England. We spoke about in the previous innings, the first boundary of the first ball of an over really makes a difference, and you can just tell it's just given England so much more confidence hitting that first ball for 6.
Completely changes the energy of the over, and suddenly the bowler is on the back foot. England have got 13 from this over already, and we've got 2 balls left of it. 27 without loss. Wasim is into Bairstow, nudging the ball into the leg side. It'll be 1, but nothing more. The fielder runs in from the deep and throws. 28 without loss.
I was just counting how many had come off the over using my fingers. I ran out. I think it's 14.
Well, I'm glad you said you ran out. Next delivery. It's hit hard by Banton. It goes in the air. It's going to clear the infield, is it? Yes, just about, but only just. It was Babbo who got closest to it. Banton going big again, but not quite timing it. 2 runs to finish the over. 30 without loss after 3.
That's where I said Banton needs to be careful not to get too excited. His head went there and he lost his shape a little bit, and that's why he didn't manage to get that out of the middle of the bat and top-edged it.
It wasn't the cleanest connection, but he gets away with it. 15 apiece for Banton and Bairstow. Banton's only boundary so far has been that big 6. Reverse sweep 6 that's somehow gone miles. I just don't know how you can play that shot with that timing. I really don't.
Me neither. I'd be too scared, I think.
Mohamed Amir is going to bowl from the James Anderson end, the far end of the ground as we look at it. It's a well-known player, James Anderson. Of course, James Anderson, I mean Mohamed Amir. I'm looking at James Anderson because I'm reading a cue for and a plug for James Anderson's podcast from the other night, which was a superb listen. I'll bring you more of that in a moment. But Mohamed Amir, a cricketer that feels like he's been around forever. He's only 28 still, but he's given up Test cricket, and so focusing now just on white ball cricket. And I just wonder if it's a loss to the red ball game, but it will extend his career, you'd have thought, for Pakistan. And he's such an exciting talent to watch. Left arm over from the far end, bowling to Bairstow, helps the ball off the hips down towards the fine leg boundary, and that'll be 4. Really good batting from Bairstow. We saw the brutality in the last over. This is all about the finesse.
You speak about setting the tone with your first ball, don't you? And that was going down leg, and Bairstow just clipped it down. Didn't even need to do anything really. Clipped off his legs, and it's an easy boundary.
And it moves England to 34 without loss. 196 is the target in this second T20 between England and Pakistan. Bairstow is on to 19. Here comes Mohamed Amir, long sleeves to the far end of the ground. Bairstow goes hard again. That's going to be 6. Behind square on the leg side, hammers into the advertising boards. It's gone flat, but it has gone a long way. 40 up for England.
He's absolutely walloped that, hasn't he?
It's just a savage hit, isn't it? Just swinging hard, and the ball goes a mile.
Again, the ball was on the leg stump going down leg, and he just helped it along his way.
Bairstow, after 2 in the last game, is starting to look like the batsman that we saw in the World Cup last year. Amir bowls to Bairstow. Pace taken off the ball. There won't be a run there as it stopped at backward point. And as I mentioned, James Anderson, it's such a treat having him on BBC coverage. He's on the BBC TV team today, and you can watch the coverage over on BBC One at the moment. He's with us on Test Match Special for the 3rd T20 on Tuesday night. And during the washout on Friday, he took listener questions for well over an hour. He revealed that he's not ruling out going on Strictly.
Oh.
He told us who he'd most like to be bowling at if he had to bowl 1 delivery to win an Ashes Test match. All sorts of things. And it's available as a podcast, that Q&A. And it's well worth a listen. It's just such an insight into Anderson, not just a cricketer but the person as well. Here comes Amir bowling to Bairstow up on his toes, and Banton calls through the single as Shaheen crouches and picks up. And that's good running from England, 41 without loss. And speaking of James Anderson and podcasts, of course you've got tail enders as well with Jimmy, Greg James, Felix White, so lots of places to hear from James Anderson, and all world cricketers in the last week, having taken his 600th Test wicket in that Test match at Southampton. It's been brilliant having Jimmy as part of the team and hearing his thoughts on all sorts of things. He also revealed who he'd call back first if he found he had missed calls from both Greg James and Felix White.
Go on.
Well, he played quite a diplomatic card and said, well, I'll see who called first.
Oh, that's clever.
Yeah, I know.
Very clever.
I was disappointed. 2 balls left to the over, 41 without loss as Banton waits for Amir, and he's up on his toes. He'll pick up a single if he's quick. Amir picks up, throws, misses. Positive running from Banton, but just for a second, he had to really put the foot down to get there. 42 without loss.
It sounds like carnage out there, but England are actually running really well. You know, they're playing the ball with soft hands when the delivery's not there to be hit to the boundary, and taking the single when the chance is there.
Just putting the pressure on the bowling side, because it's one thing hitting the boundaries, of course, that's what gets you really moving through the gears, but just keeping the strike rotating keeps the captain having to move the field around and all those things. Bowler changes plans and all works as a way of building pressure on the bowling side. Where are the fielders out in the deep now? We've got a deep square leg and fielder at somewhere below the gantry below us, I think a fine leg, as Amir is into bowl to Bairstow, working it off his hips into the leg side. That'll be 1 but nothing more, and the 4th over comes to an end with England 43 without loss. Banton on 16 from 10, Bairstow 27 from 14. Alex Hartley is with us here on commentary on Test Match Special on 5 Live and 5 Live Sports Extra. And Alex, this is exactly the start that England needed.
It really is. It really is. They needed to take advantage of this power play, and they have done. Power play's not over yet, but Banton and Bairstow, they've ran so well together between the wickets, and they've hit the bad ball. And equally, we've seen some exciting T20 cricket. We've seen Banton's reverse sweep. We've seen Johnny Bairstow sweep the ball over short fine. It's been a real good watch.
England well ahead of where Pakistan were at this point in their innings. After 4 overs, Pakistan were 31 without loss, England 43 without loss. So this is pretty much perfect from England's point of view. And Bairstow has been the enforcer. Shaheen Afridi is going to continue, having conceded 11 in his first over. He's bowling from our end of the ground, the Statham end. The lime green shirt of Pakistan, and he's running away from us now. Left arm over to Johnny Bairstow, very full. All pace taken off the ball. It's a good stop at cover point. And it is just the 1 run. 44 without loss now.
That was well bowled. He's just got to be careful going so full that it then becomes an easy drive for Bairstow to hit through the covers, because we've got cover inside the ring.
As fielding restrictions in the first 6 overs give such opportunity for the batting side to really get off to a flyer. We've got a third man and a deep square leg. That's where the 2 fielders outside the circle are. So Shaheen Shah Afridi, 20 years old, runs away from us to bowl to Tom Banton. It's short. It's almost a tennis smash from Banton into the ground, not really timed, and it's collected by Amir in the covers. And it is just a single, so England move to 45 for no wicket.
I think we'll call that the fly swat.
Yeah.
Yep.
It was that sort of thing. It was up on, it was almost the chasing the fly around the room. You've climbed on the bed, and then you leap off to try and get it.
And then he got to the non-striker's end and played a back foot drive.
Yeah, exactly. I love that. The shadow shot that's always perfection,
yeah.
Isn't it?
What should I have done?
45 without loss. Shaheen is in. This is hit hard by Bairstow into the leg side. There's just the 1 run, though, because that fielder in the deep is perfectly placed. Bairstow moves to 29. England 46 without loss. This has been a good over so far, just the 3 singles from it. But that's what I love about the modern game, though, Alex, is that you've got all of these shots that just... they look ridiculous, but they're so effective. And yet, how would you bowl to them when someone's playing like that?
I mean, you don't have to look good, do you? As long as you're scoring runs, it doesn't matter. 10 years ago, you talk about everyone has to look a certain way when they bat.
Afridi in, worked into the leg side, up on his toes is Banton. England, with the start they've had, content just to rotate the strike in this over. 47 without loss.
And you'd say, this is how you play a cover drive. You have to get your shoulders in and your head forward. And now it's actually, you can stand how you want, you hit the ball how you want, and if it's effective, carry on. We see the likes of George Bailey, how he stands at the crease. I mean, it looks ridiculous, but it works for him.
And it makes for a more interesting spectacle as well.
It really does.
You never know quite what you're going to see. Bairstow on 29. 4 singles from the first 4 balls of this over, the 5th of the innings. 47 without loss. Bairstow. Oh, it's a horrible full toss. It's gone high in the air. It could be a chance of a catch. No, it'll just clear the field as Shoaib Malik runs round. I wonder if that might be signalled as a no ball waist high, and that would be a free hit if it was, as an apology from the bowler, and indeed it is signalled as a no ball, and it was a very loose delivery, and luckily for Bairstow it was heading down past him as opposed to straight at the body, because that could have been quite dangerous, actually.
Yeah, you think that, don't you? You talk about like no balls and if it's above the waist, but you think a ball's coming at you at 90 mile an hour without it bouncing above your waist. I don't know how he's managed to hit it.
50 partnership comes up with that. Bairstow with 31, Banton on 18. It is a free hit for Johnny Bairstow. The field can't change. Where will Afridi look to bowl? It's in the slot, it's hit miles in the air. I think he's almost got more under than he has distance. He'll probably just get the 2 in the end. The ball plugs and a little bit of backspin, almost a sort of perfect chip onto the green from Johnny Bairstow. And it is just a couple of runs. So Bairstow on to 33, England 52 without loss, and we've got a ball left of the 5th over. He's not quite... so often see it, don't you, the free hit? You almost try and hit it too hard.
Yeah, you do. Quite often they say as a batter, you strike the ball best when you're trying to hit it at 80%. So if you're trying to hit the ball at 100%, your head goes and you're not in the right position. So hit the ball at 80%.
Shaheen Shah Afridi running away from us. Left arm over. Hill for LBW. What does the umpire say? No. Bairstow struck on the pad. Banton will run through and England will get Another onto the total. I'm not sure there was any bat involved. I'm not sure they're going to review the decision because it looked to be pitching outside the line of leg stump. Babar Azam is having the conversation. The DRS timer is counting down. 4, 3, 2, and no, I think he's decided. Not worth the decision being reviewed. 53 without loss after 5. One more over left of the power play. Alex Hartley, a couple more words from you on where England are in this game, and then Daniel Norcross will take up commentary.
It's been a brilliant start this from England. I spoke about earlier that they had to capitalise on the bad ball, and they really have done that. They've created opportunity. They've moved around in the crease. It's been really, really exciting. And Johnny Bairstow, he's hit the ball really well, and Banton has kind of just tried to get him on strike, which has been the right thing to do.
Sorry.
I thought you were ready.
I was retrieving the water that Henry had stolen or moved, and he's now going to take his sock away.
Odd.
Oh. He's got a. You've seen that phone in the sock business. Don't like it. Don't care. Not on a workstation. Mohamed Amir is going to bowl to Johnny Bairstow. England matching Pakistan's opening partnership at the moment. They're 53 without loss. First ball's crunched out over deep square leg for 6. There was cries of catch it briefly because there was a man positioned there, forward deep square leg, and it sailed over his head. He's timing the ball astoundingly. I've been shaking my head to Ryan Sidebody. How has he hit that so far? How? Barely.
I actually missed that because I thought I was swapping and I panicked, so I didn't even see the shot.
Well, he swiveled and pulled it flat for 6.
I saw him pick it out the cover, so...
Yeah, it's been taking quite a while to get the ball back today, with no crowd in, the ball flying to all parts. England took an hour and 43 minutes to bowl their 20 overs.
So is that what happens with that then? Does Morgan get a slap on the wrist?
I think he ought to. I think that is what probably happens. I mean, when T20 first began in England, you had to start the 20th over after 75 minutes, didn't you?
Yeah, that's what we have to do that.
You have to do, exactly, you have to do that. I mean, you get through 20 overs in...
No time.
Yeah. It's marvellous, about 65 minutes, 70 minutes.
We got through our 50 yesterday in 3 hours.
Decent.
Loads of spinners.
That's very decent, yeah. 59 without loss. They've got the ball, Amir's got the ball, and Bairstow just guides this full ball to backward point. Runs through for a single. Shy at the stumps from Shadab Khan. Misses. And it must have come off a bit of Johnny Bairstow's back. It's rolled up towards the long-on boundary, but they haven't taken an overthrow, so he must have got a little bit of bat on that. 60 without loss, England. Bairstow 40 from 21. Banton, relatively quiet by comparison, 18 from 12 with the 1-6. We've had 3 6s, 4 4s. It's been explosive stuff in the power play. This in response to Pakistan's 195, which felt at the time about 20 runs over par. At the moment, he doesn't.
It really doesn't. I thought at the time, they've batted really, really well, and England haven't bowled that well, but England have got off to an absolute flyer here.
They have, but we must remind listeners this isn't their first choice team. They're missing the likes of Butler and Roy and Root and Stokes, so the batting's less experienced in the middle order. Change of field, fine legs coming up inside the circle. The 2 boundary riders are at third man and deep square leg. Mohamed Amir left arm over into Banton, who drives sort of slow ball outside the off stump and misses. It goes through on the double bounce to Rizwan. There's no run. 60 without loss. The score remains. It could be in for a thriller. Well, do you know what I want?
Okay, go on.
I'll never get it. But I want a tie so that we go into the last match with everything on the line.
But would there not be a super over?
Oh, there would be a super over. That's ruined everything.
Come on, Dan. You're better than that.
But if it's tied after the super over...
Then there's another super over.
Is there another?
Yes.
Well, see, that's exactly how it should have been before. It won't be boundary count back ever again, will it?
I mean, don't count me on that, but I think so, but yeah.
Okay. Here is Amir. And Banton clips this nicely off his legs, but out to deep square leg. Well, really to mid-wicket. They think of a second. It isn't there as a throw. Comes hurling in from Haris Rauf. Deep square leg. One more to the total, 61 without loss. Haris Rauf. Now, hang on, is there a bit of a problem here for Mohamed Amir?
Yeah, the ball before he kind of stopped and tried to stretch his hamstring, and now he's got on the floor, and I think he's struggling a little bit with his right hammy.
Oh, he is, isn't he? He's tried to get up, and then he's gone down again. He's hoping it's cramp. He's flexing his leg in that way, but he's in some distress here. I'm not sure if he's going to bowl any more overs today.
No, he
Physio's
doesn't look
coming
too
out.
happy.
He does not look too happy. So, Physio's coming on. We'll have a little break in play. Tom Banton's taking his helmet off. If you like, if you want to make the change.
I mean, I was meant to swap an over ago, so.
Yeah, but we're used to that with you, Carl.
I just love being on air.
And we love having you on air. In that case, I'm going to address my question to Ryan Sidebottom. When he comes on, you're listening, by the way, to commentary on the second Vitality T20 International here at the Emirates Old Trafford on 5 Live Sports Extra. And also, 5 Live for this second innings. You can also watch on BBC One or the iPlayer. Yes, live cricket back on the BBC after 21 years. And there'll be more reaction to the Belgium Grand Prix coming later on 5 Live or on the website. Thrilling race. Listen to much of it. I'm not allowed to say what happened. I can't. Apparently it will annoy. Ryan, you're back with us. Game on, isn't it?
on.
Yeah.
What a start by England.
You've been shaking your head in wonder at some of these shots, not least Tom Banton's absurd reverse. I don't know what we call it. It's not a sweep by that point, is it?
I don't know what you can call it. I mean, it's one of the biggest parts of the boundary, and it went easily for 6.
I mean, is this the largest outfield in international cricket in England? I think now, because it used to be the Oval, but that's been squeezed by all the building. It's
big ground, isn't it? Big old corners.
It really is. I mean, I'm quite surprised we've seen so many 6s today, which suggests to me that maybe the pitch, it stuck a bit, didn't it, in the first game? And it started by being a little bit sticky. I just wonder if it's, we've had some sun. It's a rarity in this.
That is why Owen Morgan is the Captain Morgan. He's, I think the lights, the sun's come out a little bit and the lights are on. It looks like the ball's just skidding on.
It's all right, isn't it?
Yeah.
For batting at the minute.
Perfect conditions for batting. I think Amir's done here.
It looks like it, doesn't it? It really does. So let's take a look at their bowling options in the event of Mohamed. This is Mohamed Amir's second over, so he's bowled 10 balls, which means Babar Azam's going to have to find 2.2 overs from somewhere he wasn't expecting. So, well, let's take a look. Imad Wasim, obviously, he's going to bowl as 4, you would imagine. Haris Rauf looked very, very impressive in the big bash. Shahin Afridi, yes. Then, I suppose you've got Shadab Khan. He'll bowl his 4.
Hafiz will bowl.
Got a bit of Hafiz, a bit of Shoaib
Malik. Plenty of spin options.
There are.
Just who you're going to find at the death end, those 3 overs, if it comes down to the...
Yep. Well, I dare say he's spoiled for choice, isn't he? But so it's not. Well, hang on. Mohamed Amir's up on his feet. We thought it was all over for him.
Sniper got him. I'm not when he was stretching his hamstring, you always. So every player does it. When you pull your hamstring, all players just stretch it, and that is the worst thing you could possibly do. You're just stretching the muscle that's already torn. So we'll wait and see this delivery how he gets on. But I'm not so sure he's healthy here.
Well, let's have a look. He's running in okay. As Bairstow carves this ball through backward point and bursts through the hands of Shadab. Is that? And they're going to get back for a second. He's saved 2 runs there. As the effervescent leg-spinning all-rounder. 63 without loss. This is England's highest opening stand against Pakistan in a T20. Previous best 56, Hales and Roy here at Old Trafford in 2016. That's our virtual Zoltzman.
I think Amir's turned himself into a Premiership footballer. He's injured, he's down, he's shot, and he's up like a healthy squirrel.
Healthy squirrel?
Yeah.
Right. Here he is again to complete his second over and the 6th of the innings. That's been clattered over extra cover by Johnny Bairstow. He had to reach for it. He'll get at least 2, and they'll have to stick at 2 as Fakhar runs round the boundary to throw left-handed back to the bowler. So that is the power play done. 65 without loss. Banton 19, Bairstow 44. I think from memory, Pakistan was 61.
61, yes, they were.
So
good start by England. When there's a big total on the board, that is what you need from your openers to get you off to a good flyer, good start, and then middle overs where you're going to face the slower bowlers and sometimes pace off the ball. That's when it generates wickets. But I think England have got off to an outstanding start. And And what's impressed me about these two, yes, they possess all the power, but also they've run really well between the wickets. They've rotated the strike, so the scoreboard is still ticking over regular.
Well, you really have to, don't you, if Bairstow's in town, because if you don't run, you're going to get sold down the river. Because he's
what's the Disney character?
Roadrunner.
He's like Roadrunner, isn't he? He's rapid between the wickets.
He's frighteningly fast. I wonder what would be the best international running pair, do you think, in cricket? It's worth thinking about.
Jonty Rhodes would have to be up. Jonty Rhodes and Matt Boucher, maybe, or someone like that.
Horrible.
Someone like that.
You get run ragged by him, don't you? Shadab Khan's into the attack. He came on for the 8th over, I think, from memory, in the last match. And Banton planted him into the seats for 2 sixes. What's he going to do with him here? His first ball to Banton. And it's short, pushed off the back foot, a nice vertical bat out into the covers for a single. Just skidded on a little bit, that one. 66 without loss. Banton into the 20s.
I really think wickets in hand towards the death overs were really crucial for England. You know, there's no need to give your wicket away now. These two are set. You know, carry on in the same vein. You know, take that little bit of a risk, but, you know, look at the field. It's a massive field. You know, you're going to score 10, 12 and over with one boundary, rotating the strike.
You don't want Moeen to come in with 120 still needed, do you?
No.
Shadab in. That's been hit on the air. Big top edge, man underneath it. Should take the catch. Does.
Ryan.
There you go.
Thank you, Ryan, for that. Commentator's curse.
Johnny Bairstow's the man. And, well, he went for the big heave into the leg side and he just didn't get anything like enough on it. He skewed it up, top edge, short fine leg ran round, took the catch comfortably, fingers pointing skyward, and England have lost their first wicket. They are 66 for 1. It was Imad Wasim who took that, and he had a bit of ground to make out. It's one of those ones you wouldn't like to, especially off the spinner, because it was swirled.
A good catch. It's swirling around, there's a bit of spin on the ball, the lights are out as well, so not great seeing if it goes into the lights. It looked like he changed at the last minute, didn't he? He went to Australian style reverse cup, so it was a good catch in the end.
It was. Big wicket for Pakistan. England do lose their first wicket. Similar sort of time to Pakistan, it's got to be said. They lost their first wicket at 72. As a man to go then.
I mean, Johnny was in a hitting zone, wasn't he? That was his mental state. But I don't think he really needed to do that, did he?
Well, the thing I would say here is that's the first ball he's faced from Shadab Khan.
Correct.
So he didn't play in the tests. He didn't face him in the last game, did he? Because he was out the first over off Imad Wasim. So he might have just had a ball or two. Let's take a little look.
That's the frantic nature of T20, isn't it? You get into a hitting style and then you forget that, you know, give yourself a couple of deliveries to see is the ball skidding on, is the ball spinning.
Banton faces Zala's big appeal for that looks out and it's given. That looked absolutely plumb. 2 in 2 for Shadab Khan. Banton's wondering if he's going to refer it. He's got a slightly disgruntled look. He doesn't really believe in it, even if he goes upstairs, I think. Dawid Malan has come down and said, oh, well, go for it. So they are. This, to me, looks stone dead. We will get to the third umpire in a minute, so we'll let him run through the process.
It was a very full delivery, wasn't it? You can't really see that,
Director, we have a review for LBW. It's a fair delivery. Can I see front on spin vision, please? Okay, we'll best go straight to all these there, Matt.
Hitting all three.
They're just going to check the edge.
Okay, just rock and roll that as it's going past the back, please.
There's no spike.
Okay, they look like there's a big space. Can you just roll it onto the pad, please? Nope, so there's no bat involved. Can we go on to ball tracking, please? Pitching outside, impact is umpire's call. It's hitting the wickets. If we can go back on field to Martin, please. Martin, you can stick with your original decision of out. You're on screen now.
I mean, it's one of those ones where he looked absolutely plumb. If he'd not been given, it wouldn't have been overturned, actually, because the impact was umpire's call, but it looked straight
You'd
on.
You'd be disappointed as a bowler if that wasn't given, would you, straight away?
Really massively. I mean, it was also hitting middle and off about 4 inches from the top.
Middle.
Yeah, it was very, very out. And Having said what England need to do here is just keep on batting with their openers. Well, they've lost both openers in the space of 2 balls. Shadab Khan has done the damage, and England are 66 for 2. That is exactly what they didn't want. 2 new batters at the crease, both of them left-handers. Dawid Malan, who's only 8 runs away from registering 500 in T20 internationals. He's only played 12 games. That's pretty impressive, isn't it?
Very impressive.
Very impressive. But England are going to need a captain's knock here from Eoin Morgan.
You kind of wonder, like we talk about those little things in cricket, maybe having a right, like Pakistan had a right-hand, left-hand combination opening the innings. Would England be better off doing that? I know it's easy saying it from up here. Find it more difficult for the bowlers. They've got to change the dynamics of the field. They've got to change the field. They've got to move around, and the bowlers are not settled.
Well, here's my suggestion for you. Shadab in, and Morgan just defends solidly on the front foot. Dawid Malan, who ran himself out basically in the first game, was in danger of doing that again there. Eoin Morgan had to give him a quick no as the ball was nudged to backward point, and there was never a run on. There's a slip in. Moeen Ali would be my suggestion. Does he not do that job for Worcester?
He does, and he does it
for big appeal for LBW. This also looks very close. He likes it. Keeper likes
close.
It. I think they might refer this.
Yeah.
He's played around his front pad there, and they have. They've gone for the referral very quickly. This is an action-packed over, I tell you. It was full. It was on the front foot. Was Morgan's playing around the pad. He's left-handed, don't forget.
Director,
so here we go.
Review for LBW. Given not out on field. It's a fair delivery.
Can I see dead, didn't it?
Spin vision, please?
Might be umpire's call. Might be height. Let's take a look. I mean, it's pretty full. Let's hit him on the knee roll.
Jog that back, please.
It's out.
Okay. Yeah, that's close to the edge. But unsure. Can we go to ultra edge, please, Mark?
I don't think it's turning down.
Okay, just carry on to the pad for me, please.
No bat.
Okay, can we just take it back to the edge of the bat, please?
No,
yeah,
so
there's a flat line there as it goes past the bat, so there's no bat involved. Can we go on to ball tracking, please? Pitching outside off, impact umpire's call. That's hitting the wickets. Are we going to Martin? Martin, you can stay with your original decision of not out.
Well, there is a tale of 2 batsmen, isn't there? One where the umpire's given him out and the impact was umpire's call.
I mean,
one
that is so harsh, isn't it?
Oh, yes. I mean, it looks so
bowler, it must be infuriating when it's pretty dead. Umpire's call, tough.
Umpire's call on impact, and bear in mind this is a leg spinner bowling over the wicket. He's got the ball turned back from outside off stump. It pitched just outside off stump, turned back. It's a beautiful ball. He was going to hit 3 inches on the top of middle stump again. Shadab, well, he's causing all sorts of trouble. He's in again, cutting, pulling really. It's Morgan. I thought he was going to cut it because he got to the right position to it, and then he strapped it straight up to long on for a single. 67 for 2, what an over that was. Shadab Khan has the incredible figures of 2 for 2 from 1 over. It's been carnage at the other end, but Shadab's made the breakthrough.
Just what Pakistan needed. We were just talking about England got off to an absolute flyer, a brilliant start by the openers. Wickets can change everything in T20 and put the pressure back onto the batting side, and then what an over. When Pakistan needed it, brilliant start, and he could have had 3 in the over quite comfortably.
He could have had 3 for 1 there. Instead
should that rule not be changed?
Look, I've always thought that the whole impact playing a shot, not playing a shot thing.
It's pretty dead, isn't it? As a bowler, you'd be bitterly disappointed that you were not getting that.
You would. Start of a new over, the 8th of the innings, and Morgan's going to push a little single into the offside of Iftikhar. Iftikhar bowls occasional, he bowls more than serviceable off spin. As we just see that there were Pakistan fans who came for the test match. There was one who played a very bad saxophone. I mean, the saxophone I think was fine, but the playing was absolutely atrocious.
I thought that was a train.
No, that's a fellow with a how can I describe it? A horn. Trombone type thing. Yeah, that sort of a thing. It's tuneless and irksome, but it'll go on now for the next hour and a half. They're just behind the train station, the Old Trafford train station, I think. If Iftikhar into Malan, who defends off the front foot, and there's no run. So after seeing a shot of ball for the first 6 overs, England's batsmen are in a position where they've got to do some regrouping. Yeah, there's a man with a drum, and there's a man with a kind of with a handheld sort of Blair horn. It's brilliant. They make a great double act. Iftikhar in, and that's edged down through third man. It's going to run away to the boundary. It's so fast, this outfield, isn't it? So fast. 72 for 2 England, a much needed but streaky boundary. Malan looking to cut that, I think a bit squarer than he did.
The ball's just picking up pace every time. Once it beats the field, it's pretty much four every time. I think this is where England have got to be really sensible and look, not give too many more wickets away. It's obviously that is the situation, but wickets in hand, you've seen how you can catch up later on, especially the last 4 or 5 overs. So England's just got to keep the scoreboard ticking.
Malan goes back into his crease and works his next ball from Iftikhar out into the onside, out to mid-wicket. Shadab comes into the boundary to field. Pick up one more, 73 for 2. Malan has 5. Morgan back on strike on 2. I thought it was a very curious decision that they left Shadab out of the last 2 test matches, actually. And it's just, I know it's a completely different format of cricket, but he just, as they say, cliche alert, makes things happen.
Has that skill, doesn't he? Beat bats from both sides.
To get in, and Morgan clatters this ball. He came dancing down the wicket, chasseing down the wicket, and then Iftikhar dragged it down short and was forced into cutting it. He couldn't beat extra cover, and there's no run. There's Iftikhar again. Morgan works this next full ball into the onside. He might get 2 for this. He's played it in very soft hands, but no. Malan says no. As
Malan's not going this time, is he?
No. Is that the end of the over already? That was a 2-minute over. 74 for 2 of 8. Morgan 3, Malan 5. This is Daniel Norcross and World T20 winner Ryan Sidebottom on 5 Live and 5 Live Sports Extra. Remember, you can also watch on BBC One live right now, or see the video highlights on the BBC Sport website and app. If you are just joining us, Pakistan made 195 in their 20 overs. We thought at the time it was probably about 20-30 runs too many. England then got off to a flyer through Bairstow and Banton, 66. They got the start of a new over. Shadab's in. That's been walloped high over deep back with square leg for 6. What a shot that is. He's swept that ball from Shadab. He's, I guess he figures that chasing 196, he can't afford too many slow overs, and he also doesn't want Shadab getting into his rhythm. The moment Shadab came on,
he played that with ease.
That's again, it's a really long boundary out there.
It's a big boundary, big outfield here at Old Trafford.
Would that presumably be a bit shorter if the temporary stand was in?
Could well be.
Could be a bit, wouldn't it, I think?
It is still a batter's game. They bring the boundaries in a long way, don't they, nowadays, for the entertainment factor.
You don't like that, do you?
I don't. I hate
You'd like to play the MCG all the way out.
Every day.
Shadab in. That's cut by Morgan nicely through backward point. He should get at least 1, come back for a second. Yes, they do. He moves into double figures with that, up to 11. England 82 for 2. Plenty of batting to come for England. They've still got Moeen Ali, Lewis Gregory. Their bowlers can hit it around a bit as well.
They've got still some big hitters. I think this is an even contest now. You know, the first T20 England struggled, didn't it, with the middle overs against Pakistan. Slow.
दो रनों के साथ यहाँ पर वापस स्ट्राइक आती हुई मॉर्गन के पास, जो एक और ऐसी पारी खेल रहे हैं जो 3 नंबर के बल्लेबाज मोहम्मद हफीज़ खेल कर गए थे। मोहम्मद हफीज़ ने आज बहुत ही तेज़ रन बनाए, पूरी तरीके से यहाँ पर तहस नहस कर दिया था। इंग्लैंड की गेंदबाजी पर 69 रन ठोक कर गए हैं, और उनके इन रनों के बाद काफ़ी सारे हमारे दर्शकों को माई 11 सर्कल ऐप पर फैंटेसी 11 खेलते हुए काफ़ी सारे पॉइंट्स भी मिले हैं। तो एक अच्छी पारी उनकी तरफ से आई, और मॉर्गन भी कुछ उसी तरीके से ये पारी लगाते हुए सीनियर खिलाड़ी के तौर पर। इफ्तिखार अहमद की गेंदबाजी जारी है। मॉर्गन 18 रन बाद, एक और डॉट बॉल आया, इस बार ड्राइव मारा था सीधा कवर खिलाड़ी के हाथ में, कोई रन नहीं। राउंड द विकेट से गेंदबाजी जारी है, और गेंदबाज यहाँ पर इफ्तिखार अहमद अपने पहले ओवर में इतने भी ज़्यादा महंगे नहीं रहे थे। यहाँ पर अभी भी 3 ही रन दिए हैं। राउंड विकेट से अगली गेंद है, लेग स्टंप की लाइन से फ्लिक मारा, हल्के हाथों से खेल दिया गैप में मिड विकेट पर। विकेट कीपर भाग रहे हैं, गेंद को रोकेंगे और तब तक सिंगल पूरा करते हुए मलान को स्ट्राइक वापस लौटा दिया है। 10वां ओवर ये जारी है। रन रेट अब देखेंगे तो थोड़ा यहाँ पर बढ़ गया था पिछले ओवर में, लेकिन अब इस ओवर के बाद घट जाएगा क्योंकि अभी तक कोई तो बाउंड्री नहीं आई है। 4 रन आ चुके हैं, 1 डॉट बॉल आया है और डेविड मलान के लिए लॉन्ग ऑफ पर एक खिलाड़ी तैनात है सीधी बाउंड्री पर। देखना है कि वापस बड़ा शॉट लगाने का अटेम्प्ट करता है कि नहीं। ये 5वीं गेंद है, लेग स्टंप की लाइन से फ्लिक शॉट दे मारा, हल्के हाथों से जमीन पर रखा गेंद को, लॉन्ग ऑन पर, वाइड लॉन्ग ऑन पर जाकर गेंद को रोक लिया जाएगा। ये 93 पर 2 इंग्लैंड का स्कोर है, टारगेट 196 का बना हुआ है। मॉर्गन 19 नाबाद और यहाँ पर डेविड मलान के 500 रन पूरे होते हुए अंतर्राष्ट्रीय T20 मैचों में स्ट्राइक रेट 150 का रहता है, इसीलिए टॉप ऑर्डर में 3 नंबर पर
ਅਸੀਂ ਚੱਲਦੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਰੂਟ ਤੇ ਵੱਡੇ ਵੈਲੀ ਕਰਦੇ ਸਲੂਟ ਨੇ 47 ਫੈਰ ਕਰਦੀਆਂ ਨੇ ਪਹਾੜੀ ਜੈਕਟਾਂ ਬੁਲਟ ਪ੍ਰੂਫ ਨੇ। ਅਸੀਂ ਚੱਲਦੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਰੂਟ ਤੇ ਵੱਡੇ ਵੈਲੀ ਕਰਦੇ ਸਲੂਟ ਨੇ 47 ਫੈਰ ਕਰਦੀਆਂ ਨੇ ਪਹਾੜੀ ਜੈਕਟਾਂ ਬੁਲਟ ਪ੍ਰੂਫ ਨੇ। ਸਾਡੀ ਕਾਲੀਆਂ ਕਾਲੀਆਂ ਗੱਡੀਆਂ ਨੇ, ਕਾਲੇ ਸਾਡੇ ਕੰਮ ਕੁੜੇ, ਕਾਲੇ ਹੀ ਪਾਏ ਕੱਪੜੇ ਨੇ ਤੇ ਵਾਈਟ ਸਾਡੇ ਨੇ ਜੰਮ ਕੁੜੇ। ਕਾਲੀਆਂ ਕਾਲੀਆਂ ਗੱਡੀਆਂ ਨੇ, ਕਾਲੇ ਸਾਡੇ ਕੰਮ ਕੁੜੇ, ਕਾਲੇ ਹੀ ਪਾਏ ਕੱਪੜੇ ਨੇ ਤੇ ਵਾਈਟ ਸਾਡੇ ਨੇ ਜੰਮ ਕੁੜੇ। ਮੂੰਹ ਬੋਲਦੇ ਨੀ ਅੱਖਾਂ ਨਾ ਦਿਖਾਉਂਦੇ ਆ, ਅਖਬਾਰਾਂ ਵਿੱਚ ਚਰਚੇ ਕਰਾਉਂਦੇ ਆ, ਵਾਕਾ ਕਰਕੇ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਨੇ ਫੇਸ ਚੇਂਜ ਕੁੜੇ। ਰਹਿੰਦਾ ਕਿੱਥੇ ਆ ਸੋਤਾ ਕਿਹੜੇ ਦੇਸ਼ ਕੁੜੇ, ਗੱਲਾਂ ਸਾਡੀਆਂ ਹੀ ਹਰ ਥਾਂ ਹੁੰਦੀਆਂ ਨੇ, ਵੈਰੀ ਡਰਦੇ ਦੇਖ ਸਾਡਾ ਫੇਸ ਕੁੜੇ। ਲੋਕੇਸ਼ਨਾਂ ਵੀ ਚੇਂਜ ਹੁੰਦੀਆਂ ਨੇ, ਮਾਮੇ ਕਰਦੇ ਨੇ ਫਿਰਦੇ ਟਰੇਸ ਕੁੜੇ। ਸਾਡੀ ਕਾਲੀਆਂ ਕਾਲੀਆਂ ਗੱਡੀਆਂ ਨੇ, ਕਾਲੇ ਸਾਡੇ ਕੰਮ ਕੁੜੇ, ਕਾਲੇ ਹੀ ਪਾਏ ਕੱਪੜੇ ਨੇ ਤੇ ਵਾਈਟ ਸਾਡੇ ਨੇ ਜੰਮ ਕੁੜੇ। ਕਾਲੀਆਂ ਕਾਲੀਆਂ ਗੱਡੀਆਂ ਨੇ, ਕਾਲੇ ਸਾਡੇ ਕੰਮ ਕੁੜੇ, ਕਾਲੇ ਹੀ ਪਾਏ ਕੱਪੜੇ ਨੇ ਤੇ ਵਾਈਟ ਸਾਡੇ ਨੇ ਜੰਮ ਕੁੜੇ। ਰੰਗ ਜਿੰਨਾ ਮੇਰਾ ਚਿੱਟਾ ਕੰਮ ਉਹਨੇ ਬਿੱਲੋ ਕਾਲਿਆ, ਕੰਨ ਮੇਰੀ ਰਨ ਜਿੰਨੇ ਬੰਦੇ ਵਾਧੂ ਮਾਰਿਆ। ਸ਼ਾਰਟ ਚੇਰੀ ਦੱਸ ਹੋਣੀ ਸਟੋਰੀ ਬੜੀ ਲੌਂਗਿਆ, ਸਿੱਧੀ ਗੱਲ ਸੁਣ ਚਾਲ ਬੰਦਾ ਤੇਰਾ ਰੌਂਗਿਆ। ਸਾਡੇ ਕੰਮ ਇਲੀਗਲ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਨੇ, ਡਿੱਗੀਆਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਸੰਦ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਨੇ, ਸਾਨੂੰ ਡਰ ਨਾ ਕੁੜੇ ਸਰਕਾਰਾਂ ਦਾ, ਮੌਤ ਵੱਲ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਨੇ ਪੈਰ ਕੁੜੇ। ਸਾਡੀ ਕਾਲੀਆਂ ਕਾਲੀਆਂ ਗੱਡੀਆਂ ਨੇ, ਕਾਲੇ ਸਾਡੇ ਕੰਮ ਕੁੜੇ, ਕਾਲੇ ਹੀ ਪਾਏ ਕੱਪੜੇ ਨੇ ਤੇ ਵਾਈਟ ਸਾਡੇ ਨੇ ਜੰਮ ਕੁੜੇ। ਕਾਲੀਆਂ ਕਾਲੀਆਂ ਗੱਡੀਆਂ ਨੇ, ਕਾਲੇ ਸਾਡੇ ਕੰਮ ਕੁੜੇ, ਕਾਲੇ ਹੀ ਪਾਏ ਕੱਪੜੇ ਨੇ ਤੇ ਵਾਈਟ ਸਾਡੇ ਨੇ ਜੰਮ ਕੁੜੇ।
Attempts to analyze that I despise, so don't you even try to look into my eyes.
Hey yo, hey yo, hey yo, the kid.
ਪਾਗਲ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੋਈ ਕਦੇ ਫੇਮ ਪਾਉਣ ਲਈ, ਕੰਮ ਪੁੱਠੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਉਹ ਕੀਤੇ ਦੁਨੀਆ 'ਚ ਛਾਉਣ ਲਈ। ਮਿਹਨਤਾਂ ਦਾ ਹੱਥ ਫੜ ਚੜੀ ਯਾਰ ਕਾਨ, ਕਿਸੇ ਥੱਲੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਉਹ ਲੱਗੀ ਚਰਚਾ 'ਚ ਆਉਣ ਲਈ। ਗਾਉਂਦੀ ਯਾਰ ਕਾਨ ਜਦੋਂ ਗੱਡ ਗੱਡ ਕੇ, ਸੋਚੀ ਪੈ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਕਲਾਕਾਰ ਕੰਮ ਛੱਡ ਕੇ। सोहनी वेख जरिया नहीं जांदा साडी गुत्त दा परांदा जाके हिक्का उत्ते लड़े वहम बड़े पहला सी शरीकियां ने बड़े असी लंघ जांदे ओह तकदे ने खड़े खड़े वहम बड़े पहला सी शरीकियां ने बड़े असी लंघ जांदे ओह तकदे ने खड़े खड़े शेरनी मुकाबला नहीं भेडां नाल करदी गिद्दड़ां दे वांग नहीं ओ झुंडां विच लड़दी अपने असूल साडे अपने ही कहदे ने यारियां दे विच कदे वेखे नहीं ओ फायदे ने कुड़ी बणी मिली दा ते उस रब दी ओदी ओट बिना होर कुछ नहीं ओ लभदी कसर नहीं छड्डी सानू थल्ले लाउण दी सानू लोड़ नहीं ओ झूठियां नू झूठा पाउण दी लोकां दा प्यार वेख जरिया नहीं जांदा हो के भरदे ने गुड्डी असमानां विच चढ़े वहम बड़े पहला सी शरीकियां ने बड़े असी लंघ जांदे ओह तकदे ने खड़े खड़े वहम बड़े पहला सी शरीकियां ने बड़े असी लंघ जांदे ओह तकदे ने वहम बड़े पहला सी शरीकियां ने वहम बड़े पहला सी वहम बड़े पहला सी शरीकियां ने वहम बड़े पहला सी जेलसी करा मैं फितरत नहीं हो मेरी साडे ना मुकाबला औकात नहीं हो तेरी चमचागिरी कदे करदे नहीं असी भुल के भी कदे साडे नाल ना तू फसी जेड़े बनते शिकार कर चापलूसियां नाले बांदरां दे वांगू मार दे टपूसियां जाली व्यू लेके करदे तसल्लियां कदे रीस बदामां दी ना कीती छलियां खाड़ियां दा कठ वेख आउंदा ए सवाद कुछ बोलिया नहीं जांदा बस विचों विच ही सड़े वहम बड़े पहला सी शरीकियां ने बड़े असी लंघ जांदे ओह तकदे ने खड़े खड़े वहम बड़े पहला सी शरीकियां ने बड़े असी लंघ जांदे ओह तकदे ने खड़े खड़े 18 साल दी सी जदों लिखती किताब गिने नहीं ओ जाने जिन्ने जित्ते मैं खिताब प्रोड्यूसर दे सिरी उत्ते बनी नहीं स्टार मेहनत नू मेरी दित्ता लोकां ने प्यार हो कंट्रोवर्सी जिन्नी मर्जी बना लो मेरी बोलियां गल्लां ते मसाला तुसी ला लो कोई परवाह नहीं कैट जट दी अती छोटी हुंदी दी मां मिसाल दिंदी सी बनना है पुत्ते अनमोल जेही कुड़ी जाके पुछ ली पंजाब च मिसाल दिंदे बड़े वहम बड़े पहला सी शरीकियां ने बड़े असी लंघ जांदे ओह तकदे ने खड़े खड़े वहम बड़े पहला सी शरीकियां ने बड़े असी लंघ जांदे ओह तकदे ने खड़े खड़े वहम बड़े पहला सी शरीकियां ने बड़े असी लंघ जांदे ओह तकदे ने खड़े खड़े वहम बड़े पहला सी शरीकियां ने बड़े असी लंघ जांदे ओह तकदे ने खड़े खड़े
बहुत कम देखने को मिलता है पावर जनरेट करना पड़ता है ताकतवर शॉट ये मॉर्गन की तरफ से कहना पड़ेगा यहाँ पर बहुत जोरदार अंदाज में मारा हुआ सीधी बाउंड्री का शॉट है और छोटी गेंद पर सीधा खेल दिया इफ्तिकार को पहली गेंद पर छक्का पड़ गया मॉर्गन के बल्ले से 91 रन चाहिए जीतने के लिए 53 गेंदों में 105 पर 2 इंग्लैंड का स्कोर बना हुआ है और अब रिक्वायर्ड रेट आगे बढ़ता हुआ करंट रेट 9.4 का है रिक्वायर्ड रेट 10.3 का है ये राउंड द विकेट से अगली गेम पुल शॉट गेंद को खेल दिया लॉन्ग ऑन की तरफ एक और सिंगल के लिए स्कोर हो जाएगा इस सिंगल के बाद 106 रन 2 विकेट के नुकसान पर करंट रेट जैसे कि हम बात कर रहे हैं थोड़ा पीछे चलता हुआ रिक्वायर्ड रेट आगे चलता हुआ तो विकेट की दरकार है यहाँ पर पाकिस्तान को विकेट की तलाश अगर विकेट मिलता है तब दबाव बना पाएंगे और ऐसा दबाव होगा कि फिर वो मैच जीतने की तरफ बढ़ सकते हैं अगर विकेट एक दो जल्दी मिल जाए विकेट कीपर लगातार तेज गेंदबाज के साथ बातचीत भी कर रहे हैं अगली गेंद ऑस्ट्रेलिया के बाहर कट मारा है और भगा दिया गेंद को इस बार डेविड मलान ने स्क्वायर कट मारते हुए चौका यहाँ पर मलान की तरफ से आता हुआ तो पहला चौका उन्होंने काफ़ी पहले लगाया था समय हो गया था ये चौका लगने में और उसके बाद अब ये एक और बाउंड्री लगाते हुए कट शॉट लगा दिया है गेंद को खेल दिया सीधा डीप बैकवर्ड पॉइंट की तरफ यहाँ पर इफ्तिकार अहमद जो है अपने रन काफ़ी ज़्यादा आसानी के साथ लीक करते हुए इंग्लैंड के लिए अगली गेंद ऑस्ट्रेलिया के बाहर मलान ने खेल दी है वापस बैकवर्ड पॉइंट की बाउंड्री की दिशा में गेंद भाग रही है अच्छी फील्डिंग गुलाटी लगाते हुए गेंद को रोक लिया है और इसी के साथ ये एक और बार 2 रन पूरे कर लिया है। यहाँ पर 112 पर 2 इंग्लैंड का स्कोर है, 84 पर इंग्लैंड का स्कोर। यहाँ पर इंग्लैंड को अभी भी 84 रन बनाने हैं 50 गेंदों में। और वापस हम देख सकते हैं मोहम्मद रिजवान बातचीत करने के लिए आते हुए अपने साथी खिलाड़ी, साथी गेंदबाज इफ्तिकार अहमद के साथ। नमस्कार दोस्तों, स्वागत है आपका एक बार फिर क्रिकेट टॉक्स पर। शुरू होने जा रहा है एक बहुत ही बेहतरीन मुकाबला खेले जाने वाले इन 3 T20 मैचों की श्रृंखला का पहला मुकाबला शुरू होने जा रहा है, जहां पर टॉस जीत लिया है पाकिस्तान ने और पहले गेंदबाजी करने का फैसला बाबर आजम की तरफ से आता हुआ। और ये फैसला काफी ज्यादा निर्भर रहता हुआ कंडीशन जो बनी हुई है ओल्ड ट्रैफर्ड मैनचेस्टर के मैदान पर, जिस तरीके से आज काले बादल लगातार छाए हुए हैं, ग्राउंड को कवर कर रखा हुआ था। हालांकि बारिश नहीं हुई है, खेल देरी से नहीं शुरू होने वाला है, खेल समय पर शुरू होगा, लेकिन यहाँ पर कंडीशंस को ध्यान में रखते हुए बाबर आजम की तरफ से कहना पड़ेगा ये एक सही निर्णय आता हुआ। इंग्लैंड के बल्लेबाजों को परखा जाने वाला है यहाँ पर, इंग्लैंड के युवा ओपनर आते हुए, तो तैयार हो जाइए एक बहुत बड़े रोमांचक मुकाबले के लिए। वीडियो को लाइक कर दीजिए और बने रहिए हमारे साथ क्रिकेट टॉक्स पर। लाइव स्कोर लाइव कमेंट्री की पेशकश शुरू होने जा रही है। यहाँ पर बाबर आजम अपनी टीम को लेकर आ गए हैं मैदान पर, गेंदबाजी करने वाले हैं यहाँ पर पाकिस्तानी खिलाड़ी और जैसा कि हम देख सकते हैं इंग्लैंड के युवा बल्लेबाज आते हुए टॉम बैंटन को प्रमोट किया गया है और जॉनी बेस्टो सीनियर खिलाड़ी आक्रामक शैली के बल्लेबाज आते हुए टॉप ऑर्डर में। तो बेस्टो पर काफ़ी ज़्यादा निर्भर रहती हुई यहाँ पर इंग्लैंड की टीम ही है। यहाँ पर जॉनी बेस्टो के अगर बल्ले से रन निकलते हैं तो एक बड़े स्कोर की तरफ इंग्लैंड बढ़ेगा। यहाँ पर जैसा कि हम देख पा रहे हैं टॉम बैंटन नहीं है यहाँ पर, जॉनी बेस्टो के साथ माफ कीजिएगा टॉम बैंटन ही है। तो 4 मैचों का अनुभव है, 164 का स्ट्राइक रेट रखते हैं T20 मैचों में। बैकफुट के एक जबरदस्त खिलाड़ी है टॉम बैंटन ने आयरलैंड के साथ हाल ही में ओडीआई श्रृंखला खेली थी। मिडिल ऑर्डर में खेल रहे थे लेकिन एक कुछ शुरुआतों के बाद शुरुआती रन बनाने के बाद आउट हो जाते थे। वहीं दूसरे छोर पर जॉनी बेस्टो 38 मैचों का अनुभव, लगभग 725 रन है और 140 का स्ट्राइक रेट रखते हैं। आक्रामक धुआंधार दोनों बल्लेबाज, वाइटलिटी ब्लास्ट जो इंग्लैंड के घरेलू क्रिकेट में T20 श्रृंखला होती है, जबरदस्त बल्लेबाजी टॉम बैंटन ने हाल ही समय में पिछले 2 सालों में कर दिखाई है और कॉल अप हासिल कर लिया है इंटरनेशनल टीम में। T20 ओपन करते हुए यहाँ पर इमाद वसीम यहीं आते हुए पाकिस्तान के लिए गेंदबाजी की शुरुआत करेंगे। 44 मैचों का अनुभव है, 42 विकेट ले चुके हैं। तो गेंदबाजी यहाँ पर स्पिनर की होने वाली है शुरू। यहाँ पर गेंद घुमाने वाले हैं इमाद वसीम, बाएं हाथ के स्पिनर हैं जो कि फील्डिंग रिस्ट्रिक्शंस को यहाँ पर ध्यान में रखते हुए गेंदबाजी करते नजर आएंगे। पावर प्ले के पहले 6 ओवर 2 खिलाड़ी केवल अनुमति है बाहर खड़े होने की, स्लिप में कोई खिलाड़ी नहीं है। टॉम बैंटन के लिए इमाद वसीम तैयार लेकर अपनी पहली ओवर। हवाएं तेज है मैदान पर, ओल्ड ट्रैफर्ड मैनचेस्टर में अभी भी यहाँ पर ओवरकास्ट कंडीशंस, काले बादल छाए हुए हैं। तेज गेंदबाजों को भी मदद मिलने वाली है लेकिन एक पाकिस्तान की तरफ से अनोखी शुरुआत, स्पिनर को दे दी गेंद। पहली गेंद आती हुई लेग स्टंप की लाइन में, अच्छा बाउंस बैकफुट पर खेल दिया। इसे मिड विकेट और मिड ऑन की दिशा में गेंद खेल सकते थे आगे की तरफ लेकिन ज़्यादा मोड़ दिया बल्ला, सिंगल के लिए खेल दिया। लेग साइड में बाबर आजम खड़े हैं, गेंद को रोक लेंगे शॉर्ट मिड विकेट पर। स्ट्राइक पर आते हुए जॉनी बेस्टो, बिना समय गवाए टॉम बैंटन ने खाता खोल दिया। पैड पर आती हुई गेंद थी, अच्छे उछाल के साथ आई और अब जॉनी बेस्टो की बल्लेबाजी, धुआंधार बल्लेबाज आ चुके हैं। स्ट्राइक पर बड़े शॉट लगाना पसंद करते हैं। इनका फॉर्म हमने IPL में भी देखा है, यहाँ पर इंग्लैंड के लिए अंतर्राष्ट्रीय मैचों में भी लिमिटेड ओवर क्रिकेट में काफ़ी बार बड़े रन बना जाते हैं, आराम से बाउंड्रीज क्लियर कर जाते हैं किसी भी मैदान पर। तैयार है जॉनी बेस्टो के लिए इमाद वसीम की राउंड विकेट से ये दूसरी गेंद, लेग स्टंप की लाइन में गेंद, यहाँ पर लीडिंग एज लगता हुआ यहाँ बाहरी किनारा लग गया, गेंद सीधी वापस जाती हुई गेंदबाज की दिशा में। मोड़ना चाह रहे थे जॉनी बेस्टो ने, बल्ले का मुंह जल्दी बंद कर दिया और बाहरी किनारा लेते हुए गेंद लगभग कुछ समय के लिए हवा में थी लेकिन काफ़ी आगे गिरी। गेंदबाज ने फिर फॉलो थ्रू में गेंद को रोक लिया है। तो बेस्टो के लिए यहाँ पर उतनी अच्छी शुरुआत नहीं होती हुई, उतना आत्मविश्वास के साथ शॉट नहीं खेल पाई। ये तीसरी गेंद है, राउंड द विकेट लेग स्टंप की लाइन में और इसे फ्लिक मार दिया स्क्वायर लेग की तरफ आसानी के साथ। यहाँ सिंगल तो ले लिया, दूसरे रन के लिए भाग चुका है, रन आउट हो सकते हैं। यहाँ पर अपील हो रही है, यहाँ पर लंबी अपील की गई है और मोहम्मद रिजवान जिन्होंने जगह बना ली है अब टीम में सरफराज अहमद की जगह पर आते हुए, और रिजवान ने यहाँ पर अब गिल्लियां बिखेर दिया है। लेट रन भागे, बल्लेबाजों के बीच तालमेल में हल्की कमी हुई नहीं लेकिन जैसा कि देख सकते हैं अंदर आ गए थे जॉनी बेस्टो। तो थर्ड अंपायर की तरफ ये निर्णय अभी तक नहीं जा रहा है। तो 3 रन इंग्लैंड का स्कोर बिना किसी नुकसान, 3 गेंदें इस ओवर में हुई है। लगातार लेग स्टंप की लाइन में गेंदबाजी हो रही है और यहाँ पर गेंदबाज इमाद वसीम है, दाहिने हाथ के बल्लेबाजों के लिए बाहर निकालने की कोशिश अभी तक हुई नहीं है। यह पहली गेंद ऑफ स्टंप की लाइन में जिसे ड्राइव मारा, बल्लेबाज ने वापस खेल दिया गेंदबाज की दिशा में। टॉम बैंटन आक्रामक शैली के बल्लेबाज, 3 रन बिना किसी नुकसान इंग्लैंड का स्कोर बना रहेगा। पहला डॉट बॉल आता हुआ ओवर का। तो 2 खिलाड़ी बाहर है जिसमें से एक खिलाड़ी डीप स्क्वायर लेग पर है। राउंड द विकेट से आते हुए ये गेंद को ड्राइव मारा और यहाँ पर बल्लेबाज आउट। पहला विकेट आता हुआ, कॉटन बॉल कर दिया, सीधे बल्ले से वापस ड्राइव मारा और यहाँ पर चलते बनते हुए जॉनी बेस्टो दाहिने हाथ के बल्लेबाज थे, आगे डाली हुई गेंद पर सीधा मारना चाह रहे थे लेकिन गेंद को प्लेस नहीं कर पाए सही तरीके से और लगभग ये कैच जैसा कि हम देख पा रहे हैं कि हाथ से निकलने वाला था इमाद वसीम के, यहाँ पर आखिरकार पकड़ लिया और जॉनी बेस्टो खतरनाक बल्लेबाज को आउट करने में सफलता हासिल करते हुए इमाद वसीम पहले ही ओवर में, जहां पर इंग्लैंड सोच बनाकर आया होगा कि जिस तरीके से कंडीशंस बनी हुई हैं तेज गेंदबाजों को पाकिस्तान लगाएगा, लेकिन बाबर आजम की तरफ से यहां पर एक अलग चुनौती आती हुई उन्होंने लगा दिया इमाद वसीम को और इस अनोखी चुनौती के कारण बेस्टो यहाँ पर थोड़े अनसेटल्ड नजर आए और आगे डाली हुई गेंद पर बिना सोचे समझे शॉट लगा बैठे, कैच थमा दिया वापस गेंदबाज के हाथ में, कॉटन बॉल होकर वापस पवेलियन का रास्ता नापते हुए जॉनी बेस्टो के लिए खराब शुरुआत इस श्रृंखला की जो कि 3 मैचों की T20 श्रृंखला होने वाली है। और टेस्ट सीरीज़ में हार झेलने के बाद पाकिस्तान इस सीरीज़ में वापसी कर एक जीत हासिल करना चाहता है पहले तो, और उसके बाद सीरीज़ जीत के लिए भी यहाँ पर जाने की कोशिश करेगा। हालांकि इंग्लैंड में हराना हमने हाल ही समय में देखा है बहुत मुश्किल है। जो भी टीमें इंग्लैंड आई हैं वो हार कर वापस गई हैं। पाकिस्तान भी टेस्ट सीरीज हार गया है, लेकिन यहाँ पर एक कड़ी चुनौती मिल सकती है। ये लिमिटेड ओवर क्रिकेट है और यहाँ पर T20 क्रिकेट में कुछ भी हो सकता है। किसी भी दिन पर कोई भी टीम बाजी मार जा सकती है, और जिसमें यहाँ पर अब पहला विकेट तो मिल गया है पाकिस्तान के स्पिनर गेंदबाज इमाद वसीम को, और जिन्होंने आउट कर दिया है जॉनी बेस्टो को और नए बल्लेबाज को ला खड़ा कर दिया। देखना है नए बल्लेबाज यहाँ पर कौन होंगे। बाएं हाथ के बल्लेबाज डेविड मलान, ऑस्टिन के बाहर डाली हुई गुडलन की गेंद बैकफुट पर खेल दिया कवर्स की तरफ। तो डेविड मलान आते हुए जगह बना चुके हैं इस टीम में। तो जैसा कि हम सभी जानते हैं यहाँ पर जेसन रॉय चोटिल हुए हैं इस श्रृंखला के पहले और पूरी श्रृंखला से बाहर हो गए हैं। उनके IPL पर भी खेलने पर सवाल है, IPL खेलेंगे कि नहीं। लेकिन एक बात साफ है कि यहाँ पर जेसन रॉय को बहुत मिस करेगी इंग्लैंड की टीम, क्योंकि टॉप ऑर्डर में जॉनी बेस्टो के साथ रॉय ही ओपन करते हैं और उन दोनों की जोड़ी आग लगा देती है मैदान में, चौके और छक्कों की बारिश कर देती है। आज उनकी कमी खलेगी इंग्लैंड को, बाकी बल्लेबाजों को साथ देना पड़ेगा। ऊपर से बेस्टो भी आउट हो गए हैं, तो ये खराब शुरुआत इंग्लैंड की टीम की तरफ से आप देख सकते हैं। इंग्लैंड की टीम स्क्रीन पर अब टॉमी बैटन को आगे भेजा गया, जॉनी बेस्टो को आगे भेजा गया, अब आए हैं डेविड मलान, और चौथे स्थान पर आएंगे कप्तान ओवेन मॉर्गन, जो खुद भी एक बहुत ही आक्रामक शैली के बल्लेबाज हैं। पिछले साल 17 छक्के एक ही पारी में लगा गए थे, अफगानिस्तान के खिलाफ अपना हाई स्कोर लगाया था, 149 रन बना गए थे। सैम बिलिंग्स आएंगे, इनके खाते में अर्धशतक आए हैं। आयरलैंड के खिलाफ हुई श्रृंखला में इन्होंने अपना आत्मविश्वास बढ़ाया है। मोइन अली ऑलराउंडर खिलाड़ी, आक्रामक बल्लेबाज, निचले क्रम के टॉम करन कुछ हद तक बल्लेबाजी कर लेते हैं, इनको भी आगे भेजा गया है। यहाँ पर हम देख सकते हैं लुइस ग्रेगरी गेंदबाज हैं, क्रिस जॉर्डन गेंदबाज हैं, आदिल रशीद लेग स्पिनर, सकीब महमूद तेज गेंदबाज। यहाँ पर क्रिस जॉर्डन को जगह मिल चुकी है T20 टीम में। यहाँ पर शाहीन अफरीदी आते हुए, तो आखिरकार कंडीशंस के हिसाब से गेंदबाज लगा चुके हैं। यहाँ पर पहली गेंद बाएं हाथ के तेज गेंदबाज की लेग स्टंप के लाइन में फ्लिक
John Gotti has beaten a federal RICO case. After 7 months of testimony, John Gotti has once again proven to be immune to government efforts to convict him. The Dapper Don is now the Teflon Don.
और बालवर रखदा ਏ ਛਾਂਡ ਛਾਂਡ ਕੇ ਪੱਤੇ ਨਾਲ ਰਹਿੰਦੇ ਕੁੜੇ ਬਾਤ ਬਾਤ ਦੇ ਯਾਰੀ ਦਾ ਗ੍ਰਿਪ ਢੱਲਾ ਹੋਣ ਨਹੀਂ ਦਿੱਤਾ ਉਹ ਕਰ ਦਈਏ ਪਹਿਲੀ ਸੱਤਾ ਮਾਂਜ ਮਾਂਜ ਕੇ ਰੋਜ਼ਾਨਾ ਜ਼ਿੰਦਗੀ 'ਚ ਇਨਸੇਨ ਕੰਮ ਬੜੇ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਮੂਰੇ ਅੜੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਫੜ ਪਿੱਛੇ ਕਰੇ ਨਾਲ ਰੱਖਿਆ ਨਾ ਕਦੇ ਕਿਤੜਾ ਦਾ ਵਗ ਨਹੀਂ ਸਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਕਰੀਆਂ ਕਦੇ ਨੇ ਤੂੰ ਸਪੈਂਡੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਹੋਣਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਸਾਡੀ ਦੁਨੀਆ ਏ ਲੱਗਣੀ ਸਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਕਰੀਆਂ ਕਦੇ ਨੇ ਤੂੰ ਸਪੈਂਡੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਹੋਣਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਸਾਡੀ ਦੁਨੀਆ ਏ ਲੱਗਣੀ ਕਲਾਸ ਕਨੀ ਗੋਰੀਏ ਹੱਥਾਂ ਵਿੱਚ ਗੰਨ ਮੂੰਹ ਤੇ ਮਾਸਕ ਨੀ ਗੋਰੀਏ ਹੱਥਾਂ ਵਿੱਚ ਗੰਨ ਮੂੰਹ ਤੇ ਮਾਸਕ ਨੀ ਗੋਰੀਏ ਹੱਥਾਂ ਵਿੱਚ ਗੰਨ ਮੂੰਹ ਤੇ ਮਾਸਕ ਨੀ ਗੋਰੀਏ ਗੱਡੀਆਂ ਰੱਖੀਆਂ ਕਲਾਸ ਕਨੀ ਗੋਰੀਏ ओरिजिनल बने कॉपी कैट कदे बने नहीं बने गॉड फादर या राइट कदे बने नहीं बने गॉड फादर या राइट कदे बने नहीं बने गॉड फादर या राइट कदे ओरिजिनल बने कॉपी कैट कदे बने नहीं बने गॉड फादर या राइट कदे बने नहीं गोल्ड तो महंगे सक रैप कदे बने नहीं कारण थपड़े एवें छड्डी जग नहीं ओके साडे नाल करी एक दिन तू स्पेंड असी होण देना साडी दुनिया ए लगनी साडे नाल करी एक दिन तू स्पेंड असी होण देना साडी दुनिया ए लगनी
Teflon Records.
शाहीन शाह अफरीदी को चौकों पे चौके लग रहे हैं। स्कोर बढ़ता हुआ 158 हो चुका है। इस दफ़ा ये स्वीपर कवर की तरफ उठाया है और इंग्लैंड की टीम लगभग ये मैच जीत चुकी है। अब कोई दो राय नहीं है कि इंग्लैंड की टीम ये मैच हारेगी, क्योंकि इयन मॉर्गन का बल्ला आग उगल रहा है। हर बॉल पे चौका या छक्का, हर बॉल पे चौका या छक्का। रिक्वायर्ड रन रेट अब 9 से गिरकर 7 पर आ चुका है। पाकिस्तान की टीम प्रेशर में आ चुकी है। 31 गेंदों पर चाहिए 38 रन। शाहीन शाह अफरीदी गेंद कराएंगे, भागते हुए आ रहे हैं, सामने है इयन मॉर्गन, ओवर द विकेट बॉल कराएंगे, एक और फुल टॉस बॉल, एक और चौका। इस दफा थर्ड मैन की तरफ चौका लगा है। स्कोर बढ़ता हुआ
छिड़दा ए जदों कोई यार पुराना मिलदा ए भुल्लिया भी तां जांदा नहीं कि करिए मामला दिल दा ए दुख कटदा कौड़ा पानी नी दुख कटदा कौड़ा पानी नी सुट लैने आ संग थानी नी गलासी भर के ओ कातले अखां बिल्लियां हुंदियां तां होणियां गिल्लियां यार नूं चेते करके ओ कातले अखां बिल्लियां हुंदियां तां होणियां गिल्लियां यार नूं चेते करके छड़ लिया सी मैं भावें उम्र दा कच्चा सी तेरी अख ने हाली कढ़ लिया सी